time already.
Come on, bro, let's make a song. Let's drop one, Rich. I play football.
This is the reason why Cam Ward got drafted and Shedeur slid to the 5th round.
How surprised are you that he wasn't picked in the first round?
Cam Ward was the presumed #1 overall draft pick for the 2025 NFL Draft for a few months now. I think a lot of the things that we saw was explosiveness, was the ability to make great plays, phenomenal creativity behind the line, arm talent out the world, and just being able to really command and lead and storm back against some big adversity out there in the ACC. But sadly, it seemed that the NFL did a terrible job at explaining the story of Cam Ward, of highlighting a true #1 overall pick, right? And I guess it's just because he wasn't controversial enough. I guess it's because they had the Shedeur Sanders show to go ahead and milk to get money out of. And y'all know me, I'm a big fan of Shedeur Sanders. I'm a big fan of Cam Ward too. If y'all go watch the videos, I loved watching Cam Ward this year. It was a phenomenal season for him. It was like a gunslinger. He could just do whatever he wanted. He's so confident on the football field and confident. Well, again, when you hear him, I think he comes off a little different, right? And we'll address that conversation. But he's sure of himself in a lot of ways, and I think he's going to be a superstar regardless. Out there for the Titans. So let's get deeper into it. Let's walk through a few of the videos. We're gonna walk through. One of the first questions he was asked was about Shedeur Sanders when he got to the Titans as well, and then of course just talk about the story of what's it called? Did I say Cam Newton? Of Cam Ward and what he's got going on. So let's start right here with this infamous video. Just as a throwback, people are taking this the wrong way, but we'll talk about it.
I've been on perfect time already.
Come on, bro, let's make a song. Let's drop one, Rich. I play football. Here we go.
Yeah, football.
I play football. You ain't got no hobbies outside of that? I play football.
Sorry, they're playing Yeet. But yeah, everybody's like, hey, this is the real reason why. Hey, this is the reason why Cam Ward got drafted and Shedeur slid to the 5th round. Y'all are dumb. Y'all are dumb. Y'all just have to find new inventive ways to like frame things and hate on people. They're joking. They're friends. I don't know if y'all, but again, y'all don't talk to anybody besides the tweets that y'all tweet. Y'all have never had friends. So he's saying, hey, let's get on the song. Ha ha. He's smiling. I just play football. And he smiled back at Bucky like he's like they're joking. That's probably an inside joke that they had. Oh, I just play football. Like it's not that deep. It really isn't. They mess with each other, but now people are trying to use that against them. Now people are trying to use Shedeur against them, and obviously a lot of people are saying, hey, you know what's crazy? I actually feel bad for Cam Ward. The NFL ain't right at all. It's a shame that the whole Shedeur Sanders took away from Cam Ward's moment, and they're saying that he's the least talked about #1 pick in a long time. Then again, it's like, do you remember Trevon Walker, whatever, from the Jags? Trevon Walker? I don't know. Everybody was like, we don't give a fuck about that. I've never seen the top pick in the NFL draft get completely blown off and pushed aside by TV coverage like Cam Ward during the 1st round. He deserved far better. This was by far the best quarterback going into the draft. Not debatable. This kid can play. And this is all NFL's fault. And let's talk about that journey. Let's talk about it. Cam Ward's football journey. A 0-star recruit out of high school. He actually ran the wing T offense in high school. Do I have the film down here? Oh, no, this is him at Incarnate Ward. We have that too. 1 scholarship offer, FCS, Incarnate Ward out there in Texas. Top FCS player in the country in 2020. Transferred to Wazoo. Won 12 games in 2 seasons. Transferred to Miami. And then 43 total touchdowns and an All-American this year. 1st overall pick. What a phenomenal story. Here's Warren Moon, the legendary Houston Oilers now. Sadly, the Titans, what's it called, quarterback, speaking about, giving up the number and what Cam Ward
is just to come here and be humble, to let his teammates see that he is a guy that they can approach, that he's not going to be standoffish, that he's not going to be a first overall pick guy that's going to be to himself, where there's some other quarterbacks that have done that. You want to be able to give of yourself. You got to be able to give a little bit of yourself to each and every position on the football team. And I think the more he does that, and then also shows his work ethic and things, this team will start to have a lot more respect for him, because veterans can tell if you can play within the first few days they watch you on the field. Once they see if he can play or not, then it's just up to him to keep that same work ethic going, getting better every day, and just improving the confidence that his teammates will have in him every time he goes out on the field that, hey, we have a chance to win with this guy. So all I got to do is do what I'm supposed to do. And if I do what I'm supposed to do and everybody else thinks the same way, then we have a chance to win. That's what a franchise quarterback gives you. He gives you hope every time you go out there that you have a chance to win. There's not a lot of teams that have those type of guys, but there are a lot of teams that do, and that's why they win consistently.
Those are a lot of great words from obviously a legend in the game. Speaking on Cam Ward and speaking on the way that he can carry himself, and I think there's going to be no problem. There's no other kid, that I think is better for. The video's not playing. Hold up. There's no other person I think that could handle this any better than Cam Ward, right? I don't mean to like, oh my God, Shedeur, blah blah. Stop making a big deal out of it, and try to like pull him down, because I'm not pulling Cam Ward down. Cam Ward is everything that you want in a quarterback. Cam Ward is the confidence. He is the, the sure of himself. Luckily in them interviews, he wasn't asking to go band for band or whatever Shedeur Sanders was doing. Obviously, he wasn't trained by NFL players or whatnot. So probably a different perspective, probably had an agent, probably handled things a little bit differently. But even better than that, again, the on-the-field play, dog, the explosiveness, the arm talent, right? It's all on display, and I think he helped himself with his pro day, helped himself with a lot of things that he did. And again, there he is in the green room about to get selected, and he's still talking about that. But that word humble keeps coming up. I don't know. I think it's interesting that it continues to pop up. And again, even more interesting that Cam Ward's shine is getting, I don't want to say dimmed, but at least interrupted by people wondering about this Shedeur Sanders story. And this is him getting asked about it in his Tennessee press conference.
Speaking of which, Cam, you work with Shedeur with him as well. What kind of bond did you develop with Shedeur? And the second part of that question, how surprised are you that he wasn't picked in the first round?
I feel a special relationship with him, especially me first getting to know him 5 years ago when I started working with him when I was at UIW. But it did surprise me because he's a good quarterback. He doesn't get a lot of the credit that he deserves, especially the plays that he made in Colorado. A lot of quarterbacks in the country aren't making those plays. And so when he gets this opportunity, I'm pretty sure he'll have it soon today. He'll make sure he'll make plays on the field when he gets a chance.
And there were some people saying that like Cam Ward wasn't sticking up for Shedeur, which I don't know which y'all were watching, but I mean he's clearly sticking up for his friend. Again, they're very close friends. They are someone who's had a very long history. If you were watching and keeping up, again, like we were on our channel, they were like working out every other month, every other week. They have the same exact quarterback coach. And let's speak about that quarterback coach, because Daryl Colbert Jr. speaks on his experience training Cam Ward and the qualities that make him different.
And you also started training Cam Ward after his freshman season at Incarnate Word. He credits you for not trying to change who he is out there on the field. What in your eyes separates Cam from everyone else, including Shedeur?
Man, he's just different. I think it's just his play style, him being able to go and all the different arm angles. A lot of people don't have that. Even some of the throws that he made in his pro day, some of the throws that he made throughout the season without being able to flip his hips and just being in tough situations but still making accurate throws. I think he's just different. And I think the one biggest thing is just the way he's been brought up, being a zero-star recruit and going through all that stuff, going to 3 different schools, getting the opportunity to go to the NFL last year, but, people telling you needed to come back, and that's when everybody, how do you tell a kid who their dream is to go to the NFL, they get to that opportunity and you tell them he got to go back for another year. So, I think just his journey is what separates him and makes him different.
Yeah, it is a very unique journey for Cam.
Yeah, and he's an elite talent. I really do believe that, right? And then people are saying this is a weak quarterback draft. Cam Ward probably still would have won the first round, maybe later, and he would have been a super exciting prospect. But at this point, and with the different quarterbacks, he clearly stood out as the guy. And like you said, the arm angles and things, and I heard someone say this about it. And again, I hate to bring Shedeur back into it, but someone had an interesting take. They were like, Shedeur Sanders is a too polished of a quarterback, and that's interesting. But it makes sense because the new era of quarterbacks is crazy angles and being able to throw without your feet planted and do that accurately, all arm throws, all those different things. Like, if you don't have that in your bag, then you might struggle, right? Especially early on, right? Patrick Mahomes breaded his butter off of not just the no looks and the crazies, but also, side arms and whipping and flipping and stuff like that. And if you're a real football nerd, that the way that the foot, like the way that quarterback coaches have been teaching how to throw the football has changed over the years. And I know that might seem obvious, but like a fundamental change about it is the hip generation and the whip and the arm whip that what's it called? They've that whole towel thing that people were making fun of Dak Prescott. Well, that was kind of one of the beginnings of that wave. The thing where like they have the thing where they hit the thing with the ball, the stick with the thing. You know what I mean? One of those things, like that's all about that. So obviously a lot of has to do with the hips. A lot has to do with the whipping motion and his ability to generate power, even nonchalantly. Just flat footed. That is something that is hard to teach unless you're just doing it. And Cam Ward does it kind of effortlessly. So it's clear to see why he's a premium. The ceiling is out of this world. Here's CFB numbers. Here is what his spider looks like. Top 100, 100 when it comes to success rate, and this is per EPA percentages, right? EPA a play, success rate 100, explosive rate. Come on, dog. Only problem is the turnovers. Again, the one negative about Cam Ward, y'all, if y'all been watching me talk about Cam Ward, I like Cam Ward. This mother think that he can make every play every single time. People talk about Shedeur holding the ball, and he does hold the ball. Cam Ward also holds the ball a very long time. He is way more of a talent. Way more athletic than Shedeur, and he has one of the best offensive lines in the nation. Easily one of the best offensive lines in the ACC too. So, he was back there dancing it sometimes. And sometimes he would throw across body for no reason, do things, force things. His arm can throw 99% of the throws. He always is trying to throw that 100th throw that he can throw, if that makes sense, right? Like, his arm is so great. Dog, if you just didn't decide to throw a behind the back, through the loops, over 16 people in the hole, like, I know you might be able to do that, but we don't need to do that. Like, that's the type of player he is, just because he's a gunslinger like that. And it's an exciting brand of football. I really hope he gets to still play that game of that type of football, right? Here he is. And shout out to DJ. I'm not disrespecting you Polynesians, dog. Cam Ward is exhibit a run your own race. A 0-star recruit out of high school. Ward is about to be the first overall pick of the 2025 NFL draft. DJ was a 5-star recruit who's expected to go completely undrafted, and that he did. He did sign a undrafted free agent contract, so shout out to DJ. Shout out to, Cam Ward, though. You know what I mean? Here is Warren Moon. Obviously, we heard him talk a little bit, but here he is at the press conference. He said, yes, sir. Got the one, man. That's legendary, man. That's great, man. I love that. I love the embracing of what's been going on. I know we talked a little bit about Travis Hunter being embraced, but I think in the same aspect, the number one overall Cam Ward, just because in the NFL, ESPN did him a disservice. I don't think that the team is going to do a disservice. So here he is, speaking on film in round 3.
We've seen a lot of draft picks get introduced, but never the way we saw it today, where Warren Moon came out and surprised you. Take us through that moment and what that was like for you.
It's a good moment for sure for him to come here. After asking for the jersey about a month ago. And for him to take time, out of his day.
A month ago. Okay.
He wanted to do in the organization as well. It's a blessing.
There are a lot of folks in this city with this organization that have been clamoring for a franchise quarterback, for someone to be here for the long run, like Steve McNair was, and that was so long ago now. What does that mean for you in terms of the weight put on your shoulders and what is expected out of you?
I don't feel no weight on my shoulders. I'm still a 0-star recruit. I just happen to be a high draft pick. And so I always remember what they said about me. Never leave the back of my mind. It's there every day. And I'm just excited to get to work with my teammates.
You talked about wanting to be an elite communicator, and that would be the key to success. What do you expect your learning curve to be from now until week 1 of this NFL season?
I just think just having time with my receivers is going to be the biggest thing. I think timing and ball placement is, what beats the perfect coverage. And so, I just think me and the receivers and the whole offense, as a staff, the O-line as well, we all just got to do our job, got to be good communicators in the long run.
And lastly, before I let you go, what do you know about Nashville? Like, what's on the list of things to do here?
They got a lot of stuff, I would say. Country music. I started getting into that, I would say about 2 months ago. Hot chicken. I had some on my 30 visit. It was pretty good. It was too hot, though, so I got to get the mild one next time.
Hey, man, that boy said hot chicken and some country music. Hey, man, I like myself some Tyler Childers a little bit too. Here's a nice little sweet moment. Shout out to Cam Ward too, because he's also a guy for his teammates. Xavier Restrepo.
Don't let that 40 fool you. He's one of the best route runners in this draft.
He put on for his guy, and we don't have enough time for it, but here is Xavier Restrepo getting the call, actually from the Titans, and I'll let this play. Oh, it's not playing. But you can see he got called on tight. And I'll tell the story. So apparently Cam Ward was calling up the head coach in round 3 and 4 and the GM like, hey, y'all gonna get my guy Restrepo? Y'all gonna get my guy Restrepo? Like, y'all gonna get my guy Restrepo? So that's Travis Hunter, who's already using his power. He got himself, a few Buffaloes. Just signed, nothing crazy. And then, you know what I'm saying, Cam Ward gets his guy Xavier Restrepo at least signed. So we'll see what happens there. You got to maximize the opportunity. That's phenomenal. Cam Ward's looking out for his guy. By every experience, I think this whole class is just filled with phenomenal people from top to bottom. That's from the first round all the way down to the 6th round. We talked about the LeJontes. We talked about the unsigned. We talked about Nick Nash. We talked about a lot of great things. We're going to wrap up the draft, too. We're going to have some winners and losers. Quinn Ewers video is coming soon. Of course, more Shedeur, Deion Sanders, stuff like that. But please respect and give kudos to the number one man, the gunslinger, Cam Ward, 0-star recruit to number 1 overall. Appreciate y'all watching. Like the video if you like it. Dislike it if you don't like it. Subscribe. Hit the bell icon if you do enjoy college football content, NIL, transfer portal, football drama, everything else in between, man. We'll see you next time. Keep being great because we know you're great.